Hello, I'm Kyle Botter, and the topic of today's short video is provide value to others. So sometimes people get the idea that they should be able to go through life not really providing any value, not really doing anything that benefits anybody else, and that they should be taken on and accepted and loved and endorsed and supported by the people around them. And basically, it's kind of like this feeling of the royal family that doesn't really do anything, the prince or the princess that has no stake in the affairs of the nation, doesn't do any kind of dealing with what's actually going on in the political realm, but they want all this support. They want, the presents and all these things, the riches that come with, getting what they want. They want all these benefits, but they don't actually provide anything. And what we usually think of for these kind of people is that they're spoiled. Because what is a spoiled person? A spoiled person is someone who expects to be receiving things just based on the benefit of being who they are, just being on the benefit of being a particular person that deserves all this good benefit, but they don't actually give anything back. They're not actually providing anything. Now there's the opposite side where there's some people who provide over and above 110%, way more than they receive. There's certain people, we can look historically, the class of citizens known as slaves were people who toiled very, very, very hard their whole life and they received almost nothing because they provided a lot of hard physical value to the people around them, but they didn't receive anything. Now, I'm saying you should definitely not be someone who does nothing and thinks that they should receive 100% of value, but you should also not be somebody who puts in 100% effort and receives nothing back. I think you should put in a realistic amount of effort in order to receive back benefits and bonuses from the people around you. But providing value to people really gets to the heart of the economic reality of being a human being, in that value is what is being transferred from one person to another in many, many domains of life. So you can think of value, it's easier and most simple to see it in the form of economics, in the form of commerce and the market. Is that corporations and companies that provide value to their customers, the customers will then recompense them, will pay them back with whatever that service or product is valued at. So if McDonald's sells you a Big Mac for $5 or whatever it is, then you're going to pay that because you think that the $5, the value that you have, is equal to that burger, the value inherent in the burger and eating it and feeling full and the satisfaction of it. Any service, we will give money for it if we think that the value of the service is more than the money in my hand. Well, value tends to be the more you can give to people around you, the more you can give in a variety of different ways to to a bigger amount of people, usually the more wealth and money and value you will accumulate, because you are providing services to more and more people. You are providing services or things that people want. Basically, you are giving what people want to people. So what does value look like? Well, value, it doesn't have to be this kind of cold, Machiavellian, cut off, isolated sort of thing. Value can actually look like a lot of things, especially when you look at relationships like friendships. What is value? Well, value can be being a good listener. Value can be asking about someone's day. Value can be trying to cheer somebody up. Value can be supporting somebody. Value can be giving some insights from something you've read or something you've learned, some of your wisdom. Value can be a lot of different things in a relationship, but it's giving something to a person that they don't have. And a lot of the time in personal friendships, that's the reason we have them, is because human beings are inherently social and we feel like we need the support of people around us. And so you can provide value to people by being a good friend, being a good listener, being supportive. Now, the truth of human life is that we are not perfect, and often People are moody and cranky and angry and selfish, and they just don't want to be providing value in that moment. You go to a friend and you're feeling like, you know, just upset and angry. Maybe you don't think of providing value to this person in that moment. Instead, you're looking for a helping hand for yourself. But once again, this gets back to the spoiled mentality, which the spoiled mentality is thinking that you deserve something for nothing. The spoiled mentality is thinking that just because I'm upset, people need to flood in and help me and cheer me up, when really an ideal way of thinking things is reversing it. And instead of thinking of what people can do for you, start thinking of what you can do for people. Because this is how you will generate positive goodwill in your close relationships and build close relationships and help your network of people and build these strong relationships, which you can also rely on at some point as well. You can, when you are in a moment of need, fall back on these people. But the more you can provide this sense of friendship and value and love and caring to other people, the more you're going to see benefits return back to you. Now, value can also be just more of like an economic transaction of like, and this tends to be what men are more likely to be like in relationships, romantic and sexual relationships, and also just friendships, is that they provide very direct value. So they say like, oh, you're having trouble with your plumbing, I'll come give you a hand. Or, oh, you need help lifting a car part, yeah, I'll come give you a hand. Oh, you need help welding something, I'll do something. So there's kind of this gender difference of men tend to provide value in very specific action oriented ways, whereas women tend to provide value more in a more conversational sort of shoulder to cry on sense. So value can look like different things, but it's really giving people what they want, helping them out, sort of giving them a little gift. And it tends to be a law of nature that you give what you get. And I think it's the same for value, is that if you're giving to people, it tends to be that they feel like they want to give back to you. Not always. Some people aren't reciprocal, and reciprocity doesn't always happen. But generally, if I give to you, you feel indebted and you give to me. And I remember reading back in an anthropology class about how back in tribal societies, a lot of the time they weren't very hierarchical. They were a little hierarchical, but not near as much as in civilization. And these hierarchies oftentimes just happened because there was a big man, and the big man gave gifts to other tribes and gave gifts, and this sort of giving of gifts sort of indebted the people around him to him, and so they gave gifts back. And I think this is kind of a law of the nature. In the Beatles, the end, Paul McCartney sings, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Well, maybe not love, but value, I think so, is that the value you take is equal to the value you make. And we sometimes wonder about these super high salaries that CEOs make and billionaires, and like, where are they getting all this money from? Like, well, because if we look at someone like Jeff Bezos with Amazon, whether you like the guy or not, whether you like Amazon or not, it's clear that Amazon has provided enormous value to millions and millions of people. They've set up a system where you can get goods so quickly and cheaply that it's a system that so many people take part in. And so these people are willing to give up their money to Jeff Bezos because Jeff Bezos has set up the system that has provided value to lots and lots of people. So it's obvious where we can see this for business purposes. Providing value is good for others, but also think of it in terms of your relationships and think of it in terms of your friendships, and always be trying to look at people and think of, okay, what can I provide to them? Because if you provide to them, chances are they will feel more likely to provide back to you. But it all depends on what the person wants. So you have to use your head, and you have to approach different people differently. So thank you very much for watching, and please, if you've gotten this far, like and subscribe, and leave a comment below talking about how you think you could provide value to people or whether this fits with your experience. So thank you very much. Bye.